Today's video is unofficially brought to you by Big Kit Coffee. Seriously, look them up. It's amazing. But today we're going to talk about the Royal No. 6. Now this little project of mine is almost finished. This is made by the A.J. Deere Manufacturing Company circa 1925. Now the Royal line of roasters came in several variations. You know, a Royal No. 1 being the smallest. Then there was the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 7. The 7s are as rare as hen's teeth. The 6s are pretty rare as well, but not to the extreme degree of the 7s. But they all kind of featured similar qualities regardless of size, as you have a belt-driven system in the back. So you've got an AC motor, a large pulley wheel that spins, and what it'll do is it'll rotate a tumbler in here. So this big thing down here will spin and tumble coffee beans. And while those beans are tumbling, you will have a natural gas and or propane burner down here, and it'll wick flames up into a perforated drum. So kind of like when it comes to steak, grilled is always better. Same thing with coffee. Fire roasted just tastes better than that nasty electric baked factory garbage. Now, Big Kit Coffee exclusively roasts all of their beans in these types of machines. They're strictly Royal, nothing else. And with the beauty of a small batch roast is you get perfect consistency every time. And that's what makes it so good. And the Royal roasters are really cool because they are, well, for one, they're incredibly rare today because the company went bankrupt in 1930. You know, stock market crash and all that. So they're just very unique, and they're also very pretty. Now this one here is kind of the next on the list. What makes it very special, as you can see, here is Mr. Peanut. Now this is one of 4 units known to exist. It sits on what we call the anvil. And these were purchased by planters back in the 1950s to roast peanuts. So it's converted from a coffee roaster to a peanut roaster. This one here, I think we picked up in Alabama. This one I got in Chicago. So you kind of have to scour the country to find these things. But it's really fun to restore these machines. It's good old-fashioned American-made iron. The build quality is just absurd. And usually when you tear them down, clean them up, and put them back together and get some oil in them, they run just fine. This one will very soon be treated to a new motor. And what I've kind of got left to do is I've got to fix this air tube. So a really interesting feature of these roasters is they have a blower unit. Kind of looks like a turbo. I'll show you. So it looks just like a turbo, but there's a blower mounted to the back of the machine, and it draws air through this tube. So what happens is when you're roasting, you dump your beans through here, and you cook them, right? And there's a trap door down here, and you'll actually drop the beans into a big cooling tray. And I'll show you an example of a cooling tray, because this machine actually has one built into it. So what goes on with these guys is that blower is drawing air, and you have some type of agitator like this, and it's just drawing air through here, and it helps cool the beans, because when they're hot, you want to get them cold as quickly as possible, or they will continue to roast. Because they come out at roughly 300, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so they're burning. But I just wanted to share with you kind of some of the cool stuff that we're working on here in the garage. Again, we haven't touched this thing in forever, but we have made some excellent progress on this. New insulation, we're getting a new motor, obviously a new paint job, new outer skin. But these old machines are just, they're really cool. They're a lot of fun. It's really satisfying to restore them and make them work again and put coffee in them. But seriously, go back to the beginning of the video and look up that website. It is funny. I started off as a customer of his, and you know, we got to talking, became good friends, and he knows I'm a hillbilly mechanic and said, "Here, fix all my machines," and they kind of struck up a bit of a partnership. But seriously, go to the website, order some coffee. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is all small batch. It is all roasted right here in South Carolina by a local American-owned company. And you know, so when you buy local, you keep the money here in the United States. You're not giving it to some multinational corporation. You're giving it to a good friend of mine. So seriously, look up Big Kit Coffee and take satisfaction in knowing it's roasted in these awesome American-made machines from the 1920s.